You're most welcome, Mr. Kasambara. You may take your seat. Before we proceed any further, we would like to make our formal introductions. Then we'll explain to you the procedures for this hearing. But feel free, and you've got a bottle of water next to you if you're thirsty. But let's go through the formalities first, and then we'll ask you to take oath before you start volunteering any information. So may I start with the introductions on the far right with the members of Parliament.
Thank you so much. Good evening. Thank you, Chair. My name is Beatrice Mware, and I'm Member of Parliament for Kasungu North. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Chair, I am George Jefferson Katspatige, Member of Parliament for Dowa Kasangara'S constituency, and I'm also a member of this committee.
Honorable Chairperson, I'm Ismail Nkumba, the MP for Blantyre City, Ndira and the Mahaba Nyamba constituency, and also a member of this ad hoc committee. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Mphatso Jones Boti. I'm a member of Parliament for Lilongwe Mude constituency. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Felix Njawala, Member of Parliament, Mwanza Central constituency.
Chair, good afternoon. I'm Joshua Marango. I represent people of the Zagasita constituency.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Dairis Moses Mbengo, representing the people of Cheuzo Zemvai constituency. Thank you.
Afternoon, Chair. My name is Mackenzie Shpalamoto Nkwazi, representing the people of Nkatabe North, and I'm a member of this committee. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Avero Kafwafwa, Member of Parliament for the Mayani constituency and a member of this ad hoc committee. Thank you.
Afternoon, Chair. My name is Dumisani Lindani, representing the people of Zomba Tondwe and a member of this committee, ad hoc committee. Thank you.
Afternoon, Chairperson. My name is James Mpunga. I represent the people of Zomba City South constituency, and I'm a vice chairperson of this committee.
May I ask the leadership of the Secretariat?
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. My name is Joseph Manzi. I am the Deputy Clerk of Parliament responsible for procedural services. Indeed, I'm leading the team of Secretariat that is supporting the ad hoc committee on this inquiry. So the whole team is seated to your right and to the left of the Chairperson. Thank you so much.
My name is Walter Nyemelando Manda. I'm the chairman of the ad hoc committee and also a member of Parliament for Nsanje Southwest. So with these introductions, we will request you to take oath. May I request Secretariat to administer the oath?
I, Charles Zorokere Kasambara,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
by the Almighty God
by the Almighty God
that the evidence I shall give
that the evidence I shall give
shall be the truth,
shall be the truth,
the whole truth,
the whole truth,
and nothing but the truth.
but nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
A warm welcome once again, Mr. Kasambara. As already alluded to in the summons that you received, you're appearing before the Parliamentary Ad hoc Committee, which is inquiring into the tragic aircraft accident that took place on the 10th of June 2024 at Ndongwa, which claimed the lives of the former Vice President of the South, Klaus Chilima, and 8 others. The committee was established by resolution of Parliament to conduct a thorough, independent, and transparent investigation. Our mandate is to conduct a fresh inquiry with a view to establishing facts understanding what happened, and making recommendations to Parliament in the interest of truth, clarity, accountability, and the prevention of future tragedies. Our focus this morning is to get our focus this afternoon is to get a testimony from you on the circumstances leading to the use of the military aircraft to carry the remains of the late Ralph Kasambara, SC, including how the aircraft was procured, persons involved in the process, and any other information concerning the use and decisions to use the military aircraft. These hearings will be conducted in accordance with the standing orders of Parliament and the laws of Malawi. Committee members will ask questions to you, and you are obliged to respond accordingly. I would like to remind you that you're protected by Parliament for the evidence you give here in good faith. As per oath that you have taken, you'll be required to answer questions truthfully and fully. So may I request you to give us an account of why you're here and how you intend to respond to the summons that were issued to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, and all protocols observed. I was indeed summoned through a phone call, and later on I was sent the written summon. It's true that I'm the elder brother to late Ralph Kasambara. He came after me. And as we all know that his place of residence was not Lilongwe, it was in Blantyre. Unfortunately, on that day, I got the message, the sad news that he had passed on very late, around past 5. And I had to go to the place where the incident happened. We took the body to the Goodwill mortuary. I was given an option whether the body should be kept at Kamu Central or Goodwill mortuary. I said we were capable to pay for Goodwill mortuary, so I had opted for Goodwill mortuary. Unfortunately, I was the only family member who was present on that day. So when we were there, we went with the body to the mortuary. Of course, I had some few questions at the venue of the incident. And the following day, we had a family discussion as regarding where the burial should take place. We had different views, but I opposed that the burial should take place in Nkata Bay. The issue had to do with transportation and whether we should start off from Lilongwe to Nkata Bay. Since some family members opted that he should be buried in Blantyre, to which I opposed heavily, we had to come to an agreement that we should compromise in the sense that we can go with the body to Blantyre. He can spend a night at his home, at his house. The following day, we should leave for Nkata Bay. Fortunately, all these discussions were taking place at the Goodwill mortuary. There were some people who were around, family members, friends, some people from the legal profession and people even from home. When they heard about the program, they tried to feel a bit sympathetic to us, to say, you guys, you have to travel long distance. That means from here you go to Blantyre, and Blantyre again to Mzuzu, Mzuzu Nkatabe is a long trip. So there were a number of suggestions that came through. One of the suggestions was, is there a way how can we transport the body safer, faster, and most appropriate to Nkatabe rather than by road? We had a lot of his friends who were business people around, and there were suggestions. And one of the suggestions that let's go by road to Blantyre. But is it possible when we're in Blantyre to get a plane and to fly to up north? I think that was the suggestion that most of them who were there, the group that was there, the people who were around, accepted. They said, yeah, it's appropriate. But the question was, where do you get the money? And where do we get the plane? So there were a number of people. And if I remember well, we summoned Wapona Kita to look into the possibility if we would get a plane to up north. And one of the suggestions that came through was that Donia was one of the planes that could easily be hired and we could use it. But the question was, among us who might have known how much we are supposed to pay for it. So that was an issue that took a center stage. We identified one person within the group, that was Brigadier Dr. Dan Kuali. And we asked him if it was possible to get Donia hired so that we would ferry the body from Blantyre to Nkatabe, or rather Mzuzu. Fortunately, Dr. Dan Kuali was willing to assist in the process. And we gave the responsibility to Council Wapona Kita to handle the process in terms of communication. Fortunately, it didn't take long, or it took some time, of course, before we left for Blantyre. We were told that it's possible that the plane could be available on the following day. So we drove off to Blantyre, and when in Blantyre we got the communication that the plane is available, and we know that you're having your services, funeral service here in Blantyre, but would plead with you if you'd be ready by 4 p.m. in the evening, because the lights, I think that's airport lights in Mzuzu, were a bit faddy. And it would be better if we would go there or would reach the place before it is a bit dark. So we were asked to really comply to that requirement. And for those who were there, they would remember that the service was really hurried at Limbe Cathedral. And I remember the bishop was saying, our friends have to catch the plane immediately, so please, let's conclude quickly. We also got the communication at the same time, before we went to the cathedral, that the plane couldn't carry a lot of people. So we're given the number 9. Only family members could jump into that plane. And I was the one who was choosing the 9 people. And it was the wife, the 3 children, and the one best friend of the wife who would take care of the wife. 2, like a brother and a sister of the wife from the female side, and my younger brother and my wife on the male side. I did not jump into the plane. I drove to Nkata Bay. I gave a chance to other people to do that. And we were given these instructions. Once you go to Nkata Bay, we have been informed that the Vice President will be using the same plane tomorrow. Now, once you go to Mzuzu, and we made arrangements, of course, to Nkata Bay or by road, we were told that the plane will stay overnight at Mzuzu Airport. The following day, the plane will come to Lilongwe to pick up the Vice President, and it will go back to Mzuzu. He will attend the burial ceremony. After that, he will take again the same plane back to Lilongwe, while the family members will still be waiting. It will be until the plane goes back. That's when the family members will be carried again back to their destination. And the final destination was Blantyre. Now, just to put the record straight, I think the quotation was about 9 million. And we were assisted by some of Ralph's clients, and we paid about 6 million in advance that we were supposed to clear the remaining balance. And if I also remember well, we were waiting for the Vice President the following day after we had arrived. And I remember my seat was up, I think the 3rd from the one that they designated for him to be seated on. And I think after him there was Deputy Minister of Defense who was supposed to be next to the late Vice President. We waited until we were supposed to start, I think, the service around 10 o'clock. But it went, I think, all the way up to around 10:30. Then people were a bit impatient, and I consulted. And on the government bench, and I said, what time are we beginning the service? Because it seems the Vice President is not yet in. And the priest, Father Chunda, that from Zeus Diocese, he was also a bit agitated by the delay, and he thought that maybe the President may not come, the Vice President, I mean. So I consulted further, said, can we proceed with the service in his absence? Then I remember well, I think I talked to the Deputy Minister of Defense, Honorable Harim Kandawiri. Then there was also Honorable Chimwendo, and there was another one, I'm trying to remember. I checked with them, I said, what do we do? Can we start because the priest is ready? And what I was told was that the plane had gone back to Lilongwe. It failed to land because of the fog situation. And from there, I asked if I would proceed and inform the priest to start the service. And I was given a go-ahead. So I told the priest, and we started Mass, and later on there was rearrangement of the seats, of course, to make sure that the vacant seat was also covered. And we finished the whole process and without the vice president, the late vice president. What we got from there was that the plane had not landed because of the conditions at the airport. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that's the best I can narrate on the procurement part. Thank you.
Would you be very specific on the time that you were notified that the plane was going to be used to ferry the former vice president?
We weren't told exact time when the vice president would be ferried. But as a family, we gave the time that when we wanted the service to begin, and that was 10 o'clock.
So maybe let me rephrase my question. You stated that you were advised, you were notified that the plane that would be carrying the late Ralph Kasambara SC would be used to ferry the late Vice President Dr. South Chikwina. Do you remember the time that you were notified about this information?
It was when we were in Blantyre, just before mass service, and we had the service of mass around maybe 2 p.m. somewhere there.
Thank you. Members, if follow-up questions? There's a Kasina in that order, and I recognize Mwanza Central. Then we go to Longemudi, those three, and then I'll come back. Okay.
Thank you so much, Chair. I just to declare that I know Mr. Charles Kasambara, we've done some works together before. Good evening, Mr. Kasambara. I like your sharp memory. I have 3 questions, quickly. You said, well, building on from the question which the chair had asked, said before mass in Blantyre, you were communicating. There's 2 communications which I get almost, if not 3. One, you have to depart Blantyre area because in Zuzu Airport the lights were faded, if I got you right. The second one, you were given a number of 9 people to be in the plane. The third one was that the VP will use the same plane to go to Nkatabe and back. Would you help this committee to tell us who were you communicating? Was this the same Dr. Kwai or who? Who was giving this 3 communication? The second one, if I caught you correct, the verbatim of saying the plane has returned back as it failed to land in Zuzu due to weather. Who exactly said these words to you? Very lastly, you have said you were not in the plane, but you had mentioned people who were there. I don't know, you being the head of a family, the Kasambara family, did any family member who was in that plane, accompanying officials, make any observation about the aircraft before or during the flight to Zuzu? Asami Chair.
Next.
Thank you very much, Chair. Good afternoon, Mr. Kasambara. When you started your presentation, you took us to the scene of the scene where the death happened. And in passing, you said you had a few questions. Would you be able to tell us what questions you had? And secondly, when you indicated that your program was starting at 10 a.m., did any government official inform you the expected time of arrival for the Vice President? Thank you.
Can you take those 4 questions?
Yes, Chair, well, to start with, the question about who was giving the communication. First and foremost, the one who was responsible for communicating between family members and other friends was Councillor Wapona Kita. So he was the main person, but other people would come as well, trying to cement on the information that they got already. And who exactly said those words at the place? I mentioned about him. I said he was Honorable Deputy Minister Harim Kandawiri. And if I remember well, he was communicating to me in the presence of, to my left was Honorable Chumwendo. So, yes, the two who directly communicated to me that the plane had gone back. The third question about observation on the aircraft. Yes, my wife mentioned that to me. It's like they had some difficulties. And instead of going upwards, I think they took the route following the Lake Malawi. I think that's the route they took, and later on, I think they went up. She told to me in confidence that she wasn't very comfortable with the trip. If I remember well, that's what she said. Now, about few questions to do with that I had to do with the scenery of the incident. I thought that was outside the scope of what I was asked to prepare. But just in confidence, I can say it that I confronted the doctor who was at the scene on that day. And I told him that he should make it clear to the Malawi nation that it's your opinion, it's not the fact on the ground. He tried to repeat his same theory. I crashed it again. And I told him, it's your opinion, it's not a fact. We can only have a fact after the post-mortem. And by God's grace, I was proved to be right. So I don't want to go there because that's not the scope of what I was summoned to say here. But those are some of the questions that I had. And if I were to go a little bit, a step ahead, it was very unusual. I knew my late brother very well. I knew he would drink some whiskey and what, but I don't think he would have been careless to the extent that he would pour himself, like beer, like a kuche all over his body and clothes and all that. I don't think that's the brother that I knew. So I had some questions indeed. And when at the mortuary also, there was another information that came, I questioned it again. Because to me, the second information that came, it just showed as if the police service is incompetent, the CID department, which I don't believe they are. So I had personal questions and personal opinions. I think just to answer on that one. But were you told the expected time of arrival of the VP? We were not supposed to be told. In fact, we were the ones telling them that this is the time we had agreed. So it was just an issue of reminding each other, because it's the family that came up with the program. So we expected that the VP will be around by that time. And that's how the program was all centered around that scope. Thank you.
There's a casino, I organize Katabe North and then Zomba City South. Oh, okay, so can you take the floor and then the rest will take floor. Okay, so over to you, Lilongwe Mudi.
Thank you so much, Chair, and thank you so much, Mr. Kasambara. The people of Lilongwe Mude are so sorry for your loss, and thank you for coming. Two of my questions have already been knocked off by Dedza Kasina, so I'll just ask a question that I need confirmation, just to confirm that the request to start the function or the funeral function in Katabe actually came from you to inform the people that we should start the function. I want a confirmation that that request to start the function itself came from you. And the second one, which is, I want to ask if you can remember if there was any official from government or from wherever who made an announcement that the function must start, will not wait for the vice president. Was there that kind of announcement that was made before even you requested for the function to start? Thank you, Chair.
I have Katabe North, Zomba City South. So there's a casino. I'll come to you because you already made a presentation. You already asked the questions. So just to give a chance to the others.
Thank you, Chair, for giving people of Katabe North to ask some question. As my colleague has already alluded, some questions are already by Deza Kasina, but still I'm having two questions to add. Mr. Kasambara, sorry, can you remember which official from government side or military offices were involved in the facilitating the transport? Secondly, were alternative means of transport considered by your family, or you opted for the plane? Thank you.
Zomba City South.
Thank you so much, Chair. And let me join my friends in also thanking you, Mr. Kasambara, for presenting yourself before this committee, and probably you're also relieving the pain that you underwent at that time, some 2 years ago. We appreciate. Chair, I wanted to find out, just to confirm, on the number of passengers in the plane. If he said 9, he can confirm. Secondly, Chair, I wanted Mr. Kasambara also just to recount, or just to say it again, the seating arrangement at the funeral. I think you started, you just said 2 seats, but maybe I thought if you can remember the seating arrangement of the front row, I think that would also be appreciated. Chair, he could also probably make it clear. He said he was not comfortable. The wife was not comfortable on the trip to Nzuzu. Just to give us more information, what made her uncomfortable, so that the committee is also clear. Finally, Chair, Mr. Kasambara has reservations on the report from the doctor at that time. He challenged the doctor, and he says he was proved right. Chairperson, it appears we are dealing with a family member who is not feeling satisfied with what was painted around the late brother, the BA over his body and what have you. Mr. Kasambara, can I be correct that it could be a wish of the family if an inquiry in the death of your late brother was also instituted? Thank you, Chair.
So I think you have 6 questions. Can you address those before we open up? Otherwise, it will be too much on your table.
Thank you, Chair. The question was if I have to confirm whether the request came from me to start the service. Yes, I confirm. I was the one who approached the priest after they talked to the government officials, and they said, can we start? Was there any government official who made an announcement before me? My answer is no. No government official made any announcement. The question is, again, another one, which official was involved in the transport issues? I wouldn't know exactly, but I'm sure Council Kita would know exactly which government official he was dealing with. And I'm sure I should have quotations to do with the plane procurement, I think accommodation of the pilots at Mzu's Hotel, and I think even the amount that was paid. So Council Kita, I think, would have the details on that. Did we consider any alternative apart from the plane? I would say any person. I wouldn't use the word sane person, but normally, I think if somebody gives you a chance to go by plane and somebody says go by road, definitely would go for the plane. So to me, definitely, if the alternative was already given, that the plane and people were ready to foot the bill, seriously, I wouldn't look back to say, no, we'll go by road. We settled for the best. If I were to confirm again on the number of passengers, whether it was indeed 9, yes, that's the number I was given, and I wrote 9 names, and those are the ones that I made sure that they boarded the plane. The other question is a bit difficult now after a long time to do with seating arrangement regarding the front row. I wouldn't remember, honestly. But those that I mentioned, they are the ones. I think there was also a lady, but I didn't know her name. She was also on the front row. But I can't remember. I remember there was, to my left, Chimwendo. I was there. There was, I think, another lady here. And a gentleman before the seat that was meant for the vice president. And next to him, there was a deputy minister of justice, Haram Kandawiri. But now from there, seriously, I wouldn't remember. And it was raining heavily, so people sometimes they started pushing each other here and there. Now the question whether my wife was not comfortable on the trip, and I should confirm. Yes, I'm confirming. That's what she told me. What is it that was made her to be uncomfortable? I think it was to do with the weather. And she mentioned that to me, because I wasn't in the plane, Said at one point they were even touching the casket to say, hey, and my younger brother was, I think, making a joke with her, said, I will go together. So that meant to us that the weather was not very good on that day when they were going up north. That one, I can confirm that's what she said, and she was not the only one. My brother also confirmed. The other question, whether we should have some reservations and we should constitute an inquiry also regarding my brother's death. As a family, we resolved no. We have got our own personal reasons, and I would be asked if we would keep it that way. Thank you, Chair.
You have a supplementary?
Yes, Chair. Mr. Kasambara, you said it was because of the weather that was making her uncomfortable. Did you mean turbulence in the plane?
Exactly that.
Thank you.
Next, we've got, I want to recognize new hands. Kasambara'S, you didn't speak. Then we go to Kasungu North, then Doa Kasangazi, and then Planta Malabada. And then we will come to Chair Zonzimbai.
I don't know at what point did the casino come, because mine is not a new question. It was supplementary, like Zomba said herself. So I'm afraid when we exhausted the questions, he would have forgotten it. It was nothing new.
You might as well make your supplementary now.
Thank you so much, Chair. Mr. Kasambara, once again, I got your responses, but I just want to get a confirmation of that before committee. You have said the communication which you were getting while in Blantyre about airport lights in Zuzu to Stargrove area can only take 9 members. The VP uses the same plane. You have told this committee that it's Mr. Obonakita, is it?
I would say all official communication was through Waponakita, but we would get as well information from other interested parties. Like they would say, hey guys, get ready. They're saying that you're supposed to go this time. You're supposed at the airport. Do you need us to take you, some people to take you to the airport so that you're on plane? So people got the information, but officially, I'm giving the one who was responsible for official communication to the family and to the members was Wapona Kita.
Very last, Chair. So too, on the issues of the plane has returned back to Lilongwe due to weather it has failed to land. Can you confirm? You said, the one who said these words is Honorable Haring Kandawi, then Minister of Defense, not Deputy Minister, but in place of Honorable Jimondo, is it? Or it's Honorable Jimondo who said the words? Who?
I first, if I remember well, if my memory treats me well, the one I was next to was Honorable Chumwendo, to my left. When I asked him, we wanted to go together to consult with Honorable Harem Kandawire. Fortunately, I think he saw us that we wanted to go there, and he came and we met in between. So it's when he was relaying the message to us. I think me and Honorable Chimwendo got it at the same time.
So you got the message from Honorable Kandawire?
Yes.
I had recognized another. I was going to start from there and come this side. Zomba Tondwe. Okay, then I will start from Kasungu. After that, after you, Kasungu North. Let's keep that order. Doa Kasangazi. And then Cheo Mzonzimvai. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much, Chair. I pray that the soul of love rests in peace. Chair, I wanted the confirmation from Mr. Kasambara on you mentioned that you paid about 6 million for the plane. I wanted to confirm with you in whose name was the receipt of this payment. That's number one. Number two, I wanted to confirm that other than the 9 family members, were there any other soldiers or army officials other than pilots? Or I'm trying to get a picture on the actual number, including pilots in the plane. How many were in there? Thank you.
Kasungu.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Kasambara, the question is, can you tell this committee the exact time the burial ceremony in Nkatabe started? The exact time, because you just said after 10. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mr. Kasambara, I would like to know, I think my question is related to the question that was asked by, is it Zomba, the one about the number of people. Were you given any reason as to why you do not select more than 9 people to board the plane? Thank you very much, Chair.
Planter Andira and Malabada.
Thank you very much, Chair. First of all, my condolences to the Kasambara family. I have 3 questions. I'd like to find out from Mr. Kasambara if he knows what had necessitated his brother, since he was based in Blantyre, to visit Lilongwe. Number 2, you said that you drove from Blantyre to Nkatabe. I'm assuming you went through Nzuzu as well. From your observation, what was the weather like through the Chikangawa and Nzuzu? The last question is, what time were you arriving in Nzuzu and Nkatabe? Thank you.
Chair Mzozimvai.
Thank you so much, Chair, for granting us, the people of Cheudzozimvai, to ask a question to Mr. Kasambara. I appreciate that much has been answered, but I have only one question. I would like to know if there were any technical issues, unusual occurrences, or operational concerns observed before or during the flight. Thank you.
Mr. Ralph Kasambara, you may proceed to answer the questions.
Thank you, Chair. I will start with the question about the exact time when burial took place. I think it would be a far-fetched answer if I were to say the exact time. Generally, I would say in the Catholic Church, masses usually they would take 1.5 to 2 hours. We started the service around maybe 20 to 11, something like that. So if we would say after 1.5 to 2 hours from there, that's when we are going for the burial. I think I wouldn't be quite exact. I think that's the only direction I can give to the committee. I will start with, I believe, and is subject to confirmation with the Council Wapona Kita, that what was paid was in Kasambara'S name. So, but I'm saying that's subject to confirmation from Mr. Wapona Kita, because he has the receipt. I can't remember all the details now. Apart from the 9 members, were there any other soldiers or personnel on board? I don't know. If we go at that Bakiri Mluzi now airport, Chileka airport, where people are boarding and you are outside the fence, the wire fence, it's a distance. I wouldn't know what was inside. I didn't board the plane. So I'm sorry, I wouldn't be specific on that one. Even I wouldn't tell you how many pilots were there, whether there were 2 or 1. I wouldn't, because I didn't go that close. Any reason why not more than 9 people? We're told that that's an acceptable number of people that should board the plane. And to me, as a layperson, I thought that was the capacity of the plane itself. But that's what I was given. And the names when I was giving out is that I'd have preferred to put more people if I were given the chance. But if it was restricted, as a matter of fact, that reminds me, there was one lady who wanted to be the 10th person. They made sure that she came out of the plane. I wouldn't mention the name, but they said, your name is not here. So she was a very close family member, but she came out. We picked her from the airport, and we tried to arrange for her some means of transport. But she was the 10th person, but she was sent back. So to me, as a layperson, I think I had to abide by what strictly we were told to do. So the other question was, what necessitated RK to be in Lilongwe? Ralph used to have a law firm here in Lilongwe, but he closed it, and he was just maintaining the one in Blantyre after his arrest and the other things that he was going through. We thought it was just too much for him, to have other people running his firm here when he's not around. So he used to come to Lilongwe to handle most of his cases, where he was not supposed to appear before the court, where there were cases of arbitration, for instance, he would handle them himself. But most of the times, he would do part of the paperwork, and he would give other lawyers to finish off his work. And most of the times when he used to come here in Lilongwe, there was only one place that he was comfortable with, and that's Demlon at Lodge, where he died. And his room was always close to the reception for safety reasons. And if we want to put it on record, even when he was here at that particular time, he was booking 2 places to confuse those who would be maybe his enemies. So what he would book at the Demlock, he would book at the BICC. At the same time, even when he died, if you do thorough investigations, that's the information that you're supposed to get. He was booking in 2 places. But when maybe your day has come, it really indeed comes, whether booking 2 places or 3 places. So he had his clients. And even when the day he died, he was handling the case of Mirza from Mzuzu. And his file was there at Demlo. I'm the one who took it, and I gave it later on to the ones who were other friends who were supposed to finish it. So that's what necessitated him to come here. It's just the issue of his clients. Most of them were in Lilongwe and Mzuzu. You asked me about weather in Chikangawa when we drove up north. Yeah, it was terrible. I was passing through Chikangawa around 3 a.m. with my uncle. I couldn't drive at one point, not more than 10 kilometers per hour. There was thick fog. That's the honest part of it. What time we arrived in Mzuzu, it was around 5 a.m. or past 5 on that day. That's how we traveled. Now the question about Madam, about the technical concerns about the plane, honestly, I think that's outside my jurisdiction. And in fact, I am not an expert whether I would ask you for that or whether I was on the because I was not also on the plane. I wouldn't ask whether there were any concerns about the plane. But the flight itself, whether it was comfortable or not, that's what I've already expressed. Thank you.
Supplementary, Chair.
We've had an extensive one. We can take a few, so we wrap up.
Chair, my question was not answered.
The question, you didn't answer, what was the question about?
My question was, I wanted to confirm the total number of people, including pilots.
Chair, please protect me. I had already answered that question.
I apologize then, I missed it.
Definitely missed that, yeah. There's the Mayani, Kadabe North, and then we wind up with the Planta Malabada.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mr. Kasambara, we are very sorry for the loss of your brother and wish the family receive condolences from the people of Dedza Mayani as we still deliberate the issues surrounding. I just wanted, Mr. Kasambara, if you can confirm about the burial program. When was it produced? And on that burial program, would you please inform this committee about the indicated time for the start of the burial ceremony? In my understanding, it could mean maybe the mass, if because you are talking about the priest, if you could specify to say whether the burial ceremony or the mass was according to the program which we had said it was supposed to be starting at such an hour. And I would like you to confirm if that program was drawn on that particular day or a day before, or when was it drawn, so that everybody gets aligned with what the family had said as the date. Thank you very much, Chair.
Kadabe North.
Thank you, Chair. My question is a quick question and short one. Mr. Kasambara, just wanted you to maybe to rate the committee that you said after discussion with the official government, and then you decided the service to start. My interest is who sat on the seat of the Red Vice President? Thank you.
Planta Ndirande Malabada.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I have two supplementary questions. I would like to know, when you mentioned that your brother and your wife had experienced the terrible turbulences, did they mention to you that they were still willing to travel on the same aeroplane back to Blanta? Second question, I hope it's not very intrusive. Did your brother, Honorable Kasambara, mention to you who was or who he had feared that was after him, probably to harm him? Thank you.
You may take that last round of questions.
Thank you, Chair. I'll start with the burial program. When was it produced? Everything that we did ourselves when we went to Blantyre, from here, when we arrived in Blantyre, as a family we sat down and we drew up the program. That how to travel from Blantyre to Kadabe. Some people were already there, so it wasn't only to do with about traveling, but this was a comprehensive program, including even issues of food, other arrangements like tents and so forth. So it was a comprehensive program. We did it the day before. And fortunately, the two brothers of mine, they're in Mzuzu, so we could phone them to arrange with the priest that it should be at the venue around 9:30, so that by 10 o'clock, when the vice president comes, we start the service. Now, that's how it went. And it was easy for us to notice that the way we planned it, that's why we're saying the program was not drawn by not any other people but us. But the question that whether I decided for the program to start, I didn't decide, but rather I was facilitating that the program should start because that's what we had agreed. Because if you say I decided it's like a one-person show, no. It was already agreed, so I was simply facilitating the process, and I had to consult the rightful authorities to make sure that the program is on track. If you ask me, were we late? Yes, of course we were late. That's why I tried to come in and to consult immediately so that we would start the program. If you ask me the question, who sat on the VP chair? Nobody sat on the VP chair. I said that when that was communicated, there was rearrangement in terms of the front row. So the chair which was supposed to be sat by the VP was removed, and we tried to squeeze that space. That's why I couldn't remember exactly what was the arrangement in terms of the front row. If you ask me, were they still willing to travel again on the same plane? This is my brother who lives in Mzuzu. He wouldn't be traveling to Blantyre to do what? He was supposed to be there. My wife was supposed to come back with me. So they wouldn't have made any reservations, or they wouldn't have made any communication regarding where they were willing. But what about the rest? The answer is yes. They expressed that they will come back with the plane. So we have to differentiate who was coming back or not. And we weren't very sure whether the arrangement would have been that we should stop here in Lilongwe while we were delivering people in Blantyre. It wasn't very clear. We were supposed to clear that at the end, because what we knew is that it's supposed to take us back. But not everybody who was in Blantyre was supposed to go back to Blantyre. Some were supposed to remain in the north and some in the center. And the other question, I think, is far-fetched, if I were to answer that one. Whom did he fear most? Oh, wow. Ralph had a lot of friends, and he had a lot of enemies. That's what we concluded in the family. That's why we don't want to institute any inquiry about it. And this is my first time to come open to talk about the death of my brother. And I wouldn't like to talk about it. I've got my own reservations. So I cannot point out that one, the one he feared most, the one. No. Let's not create enmities here. The thing is already gone. May his soul rest in peace. I think we'll take it, we've accepted it, and that's how it is. Thank you very much, Chair.
The Vice Chairman, Zomba City South.
City South.
Yeah.
No, Chair, just one final one. I did offer my condolences on behalf of the people of Zomba City South to Mr. Kasambara. You finished by saying he had a lot of friends and enemies. I wanted to know, Mr. Kasambara, if late Ralph Kasambara was friends with the late SKC, and if they were friends, how close were they? Thank you.
You may respond.
Yes, Chair, I will respond to that. Yes, they were very close. Very close. I think from their childhood, even from the university, they were very close. And at every birthday of Ralph, I still remember Saros would bring a gift, and a big gift for that matter, like when he was at the Airtel Malawi, he would bring the first brand, maybe of handset of phone. He would say, my brother, here it is. Or if he is busy, he would make sure always on his birthday, or if we're celebrating birthday, he would make his way, come over, and if he comes and says, I'm very busy, but I just wanted to wish my brother happy birthday, we'll chat later. That's the type of relationship that I knew that anytime Ralph would go to Saros's place, and Saros would go to Ralph's place. And yes, they were very close. That's why it wasn't a surprise to us when he, after traveling a long trip, still he sacrificed that I would go and be there during the burial. So to me, yes, that was the spirit of brotherhood. Thank you, Chair.
So, Chairperson, you lost 2 brothers in a way, in a space of 3 days.
That's very true.
Thank you very much for according us this opportunity to interact with you. And we appreciate your patience in responding to several questions that were put forward. We also appreciate your willingness to participate in this inquiry. I noted you were very straightforward with your responses, straight and direct, so I've also learned, a few things from you as well on how we should proceed going forward. You've given us a detailed account of how events unfolded, and that will help us shape, our investigations. So if you have any further comments to make, we'll allow you to make a final remarks, and then you can take leave.
Chair, my last words is just to thank you and the audience for according me the opportunity to appear before you, and I hope I've been helpful in one way or the other. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Kumbukirani kupanga subscribe to our YouTube channel, Malawi News Daily Updates, kuti nkhani zochitika ku Malawi sema kuphonyeni. Inywa mzikhala munthu kuyambirira kumva kamene akuonera nkhani zimene.